Gas prices have spiked again. If that's frustrating, you should know that help may be on the way. Coming up, we'll tell you what California's governor is doing.
There is also help on the way for college students who commute, how a new program could help them save thousands of dollars.
We'll find out how 7,000 students got a free ticket to ride anywhere in the Bay Area.
And it's a major milestone for farm workers who have been battling for union protection for decades. We'll have those stories and more just ahead.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Carson Wells.
And I'm Rodri Smith. We begin with those sky-high gas prices this week. Californians start getting those tax rebate checks. They will range between $250 just over $1,000, depending on your income and your family size. That money comes not at a moment too soon. The pain at the pump is back. Prices are so high, the Bay Area drivers are no longer looking for which gas is the best, rather which one is the cheapest.
Once again, California has the highest priced gas in the country. How is it high? According to AAA, the current average price in San Jose is $6.48 a gallon, and the highest record average price is $6.54, and for diesel, it's $7.13. That left many drivers planning their trips and shoppings around for cheaper gas. Gio Gaxiola works at Costco. He says there are 5 different Costcos within a 5-mile radius of San Jose State campus. Many students are doing their grocery shopping and filling up their tanks at the same time to save an extra trip.
And stuff that shop there, they want to just get their shopping out of the way, and they figure like, oh, I might as well get gas here too. So it's kind of, like I said, it's just more convenience than anything.
Costco is known to having lowered gas prices the most. There's an easy way to tell in advance though what the price will be. Just download the app.
Nesta Dubate is so frustrated he's considering alternative ways to get to school.
Carpooling or finding someone near me, because gas is very expensive and that's a lot. It's pretty much paying for school outside of school. I'm not with that.
All of this comes after we had just seen a dip in price at the pump. But what happened? AAA says at least 6 of the state's 14 oil refineries have taken offline for maintenance in recent weeks. Some of that maintenance was planned, but that means even as the price of oil has been going down, the state has less supply right now. But Governor Gavin Newsom says it just doesn't add up. He accuses the oil companies of being greedy.
It just doesn't add up. The degree of divergence from the national prices has never happened before. And oil companies, they provide no explanation. The fact is, they're ripping you off. Their record profits are coming at your expense.
Governor Newsom is also calling for a new windfall tax on the state's oil companies. He's also directed the state board to allow refineries to start selling the winter blend gas a month early. The winter blend gas is cheaper. Experts predict that the move could bring the prices back down as much as $1 a gallon.
Speaking of expensive gas, it's just one more thing that makes it tough for commuter students to get to San Jose State. Traffic can be impossible. There are parking passes to pay for, and after all that, you may not even find a parking spot. But a new transit pilot program could help take the pressure off thousands of Bay Area college students. Reporter Heather Allen has that story.
It's an all too familiar scene. Stressed students circling parking garages at San Jose State, searching for a parking space, hoping they make it to class on time. But now, the Bay Area Metropolitan Transit Commission is rolling out a program that could help. The new Bay Pass pilot aims to get thousands of randomly selected students at a handful of Bay Area colleges out of their cars and onto public transit. The cost? Just $3.
And so what the Bay Pass does is it allows people to use any agency, not only VTA, but BART and Caltrain and the ferry and all the different agencies to be able to get to anywhere that someone wants to go.
The existing Smart Pass granted SJSU students Clipper cards that gave them free rides on VTA. They would have to pay out of pocket to use other agencies like BART.
I've been going to this university for about a year now, not that long, but since I've joined, I've been using public transport every day. I commute from Fremont 5 days a week using the BART and the VTA. Since I've gotten the Bay Pass now, I get free rides on the BART as well.
Varshni says that he will save about $1,000 on BART fares this semester, the kind of savings that could make the difference between whether a student comes to class or not. Program leaders are hoping that students will realize how well public transportation fits into their lives and continue to use it long after they graduate.
I don't like dealing with traffic. I'm really bad with like freeways and highways, so I'd rather not take those. Also, gas has been super pricey. Also, the parking at San Jose State can be very hard, so I would have to leave I'd have to leave my house earlier if I wanted to bypass that traffic.
Program leaders say that the Bay Pass is one step in an action plan to make a more seamless Bay Area transit experience. If the 2-year pilot is successful, it could be made permanent and expanded to other organizations.
I'm so excited about how many people we can get to use public transport.
In San Jose, I'm Heather Allen, Update News.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has officially signed a new bill into the law that offers more protection to farm workers voting in union elections. But what are those protections? Reporter Jesus Teletud has that story.
Yes. Woo!
After weeks of facing pressure from President Biden and the United Farm Workers, Governor Gavin Newsom signed Assembly Bill AB 2183 into law. The legislation will help farm workers vote remotely in union elections. It is designed to eliminate any possible intimidation from their employers when the workers are deciding whether or not to join a union. Supporters of the bill call it a massive win.
You know, I got really emotional because this is a win for them. It's a victory, and they worked so hard for this. They marched 24 days straight from Delano, California to Sacramento, California, and then they were outside the state capitol for like 31 days away from their families.
Martinez, who became a farm worker at the age of 14, raised awareness of the legislation using her social media platforms. She also participated in the United Farm Workers 24-day march to the state capitol. She says this was personal. Her grandfather broke his ribs working in the fields, but was still deported.
They just sent him back to Mexico like nothing. And like that's still happening till this day. Like maybe not the Bracero program, but if someone gets injured on the job, like it's just like, well, sorry, dude, like bye. And it's like if you're working anywhere else like Starbucks, Amazon, and you get injured on the job, it's a whole nother story. You have a whole union.
While the passing of AB 2183 is a win for most, some still feel that this is a step in the wrong direction for farm workers, such as the California Farm Bureau, who represents the employers. The organization expressed deep disappointment and concern.
It really takes away the secret ballot process that was really envisioned by Cesar Chavez back in the 1970s to allow employees to make free and open choices based on their beliefs, and that all employees are then required to vote in that particular process rather than just 50%.
Despite the opposition, supporters still say this is a win for farm workers, even if the governor modifies the bill during next year's legislative session.
I think that the signing of this bill is an attempt to codify in law the ability for farm workers to be able to unionize in a safe way where they don't feel that their jobs are at risk or that they might be deported and all sorts of other things that go on oftentimes.
In San Jose, Jesus Teletud, Update News.
You just heard from Professor Jesus Covarrubias, who teaches Mexican-American Studies here at San Jose State. He's joining us now live to give us a little more perspective on this story. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
My first question that I'm going to have for you is, farm workers first unionized in the 60s. What has taken so long to get these basic protections?
Well, actually, there were protections established by the early 70s and even prior to that. But it's one thing to pass a law. It's another thing to implement and uphold the law. And this is where many challenges historically have existed and continue to exist. So it's been an uphill fight for farm workers to have some of the basic worker rights that many of us take for granted.
Opponents to the new law say union memberships among farm workers remain low. They contend that this is an effort to boost the numbers, but is it?
Well, it could be an effort to boost the numbers, but that's a good thing. Really, for farm workers, that's historically been the only way for them to be able to achieve some of the basic rights as far as working conditions, benefits, and pay is through unionization. Often, what we find is that in certain ag industries that are unionized, you're more likely to see workers' pay be much more livable and their working conditions be much more tolerable. When we've seen historically in agricultural environments where there's non-unionized workers, you're more likely to see less protection, more vulnerability, so that workers can often find themselves exploited, discriminated against, and in some cases even deported, and all sorts of other ways in which employers, growers, and can take advantage of those situations.
Now, are you able to tell me what the issues are that farm workers say they still face that make the union necessary?
Right, it's the same issues that existed way back when. I actually wanted to share with you, this is a photograph of me and Cesar Chavez back in the early 1990s, and what he was really advocating for was human dignity, and that workers should be seen as employees and treated like human beings in the workplace, just like anybody who works in an office, so that you have access to breaks, you have access to restrooms nearby, that during a heat wave, for example, you have access to shade, potable water that you can drink. And so all of those kind of basic things that we as human beings require are the things that were being fought for back then, and certainly still exist, especially in many rural areas where you have farm workers very isolated and subject to the whims of employers.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your analysis. We do appreciate it.
When we come back, we have an update on the destruction Hurricane Ian left in its wake. We'll take you to Florida for an up-close look at the massive cleanup.
Want to know what the weekend has in store? Well, I'll be up next with your forecast.
And we take a look at electronic dance music. We'll show you how the craze is growing around the Bay Area.
Everything old is new again. That's true for electric dance music, or EDM. It's been around since the 80s, but is now transforming and becoming a lot more popular in the Bay Area. How? Reporter Denitra Chavez-Rose has more on that story.
EDM is transforming into its own culture. More and more people in the Bay Area are discovering it. They say they're finding happiness through the art of rhythm and dance. Electronic dance music, popularly known as EDM amongst college students, is an old genre with new elements. Music festivals have been a great boost for EDM. Young adults make up most of the audience. They attend annual raves like SoCal's Hard Summer and NorCal's Audiotistic. Check this. With the emergence of rave culture in the early 2010s came the start of the shuffle dance craze. Jasper Sanchez, the founder of the San Francisco Bay Area dance movement, began shuffling around 2015.
I was actually introduced to it back in 2015, where I made like a newfound group of friends, and they showed me like all the EDM events that go on in our area and stuff like that. I saw shuffling around like EDM events, and I got really curious because I didn't know that style of dance yet. So I started to pick it up slowly.
The San Francisco Bay Area Dance Movement is a local organization created to bring EDM lovers together. The group is a community that meets throughout the month at the San Jose Discovery Museum. They showcase their moves and share shuffling techniques.
Eventually, COVID hit, and I really wanted to get an outdoor kind of community going again. And that's what inspired the idea to, found SFBADM and just kind of like provide an outdoor, safe, like really supportive environment for people to gather and just practice the passion together,
The EDM scene is undeniably a lot bigger in Los Angeles than it is in the Bay Area.
I noticed in NorCal, it is a little bit more difficult because the EDM community isn't as big. And I think our community has done a really good job promoting EDM with our passion, because that's mainly what we dance to, and even online, most of the shuffling is just mainly to EDM music, So it's cool to be a community in our area that can help kind of promote it.
The repetitive rhythm of house music is what makes shuffling so much fun. House music is one of the more prominent subgenres of EDM. Its popularity is rising rapidly. Shuffling to EDM is bigger than ever in the Bay Area. Coming out of the pandemic, house music is the positivity dancers say they need. So what is your favorite EDM artist? We put that question to students in this week's State of the Spartans.
For EDM, I really like the energy. Every time anyone's just listening to EDM is always just like in a loud party, kind of just energetic environment. I really just like the whole feel of that. I'm kind of only listening to some mainstream artists right now, like Zed, Illenium, Slander, and it wasn't too long ago. I think it was last year. That's when I had my first rave, and now I'm going to one this upcoming Saturday for Zed, and then maybe another one for Slander this month. So.
Usually, my favorite part is, I guess, going to festivals. Usually, the crowd is always like loving. People always are willing to help out each other, and the vibes are always cool there. I'm pretty basic. Slander, Illenium.
I really like that it's upbeat. There's a lot to EDM. Like there's like house music or house EDM. There's also like, again, more like upbeat or like dubstep. So there's like a lot of like the duality of EDM. I like that there's a lot of different types. I was supposed to go to Excision and Illenium a few years back, but due to COVID I did not. I'm going to Zed this weekend. My favorite artist would be Excision. I really like Rez as well.
Thank you.
Now for the latest on the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. The damage is still being assessed, but the storm was deadly. At least 85 people have died, and the cleanup and restoration will be massive and costly. This video was some of the devastation at the Fort Myers Beach community along Florida's western coast. The whole neighborhood was destroyed. Homes reduced to rubble. The estimate is that Ian caused tens of billions of dollars in damages. More than 6,000 Floridians still have no power. The Red Cross says there are another way you can help. They desperately need blood donations, especially type blood O. The storm wiped out local blood donation centers. You can go to the redcrossblood.org, where there you can find blood drives near you and you can schedule an appointment online. There's an easier way to donate money. Just text Red Cross to 9099 to donate $10 to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund.
We are fortunate enough to be dealing with Much better weather here in the Bay Area, but some areas could see a little rain. Brandy Cash has your forecast.
Hi, I'm Brandy Cash and I'm here with this week's weather update. We're seeing a return to more summer-like temperatures this week as valleys are seeing highs in the 80s and 90s. Patchy coastal fog, Bayside 70s and 80s. Storms stay north and dry patterns will continue this week. And as we take a look into our extended outlook, besides some local drizzle with low clouds mainly near the coast, it appears that rain chances will be staying away for a while as we move into the next week due to high temperatures. And as we take a look at our 7-day forecast for Santa Cruz, we have high temperatures Saturday at 73, lows on Sunday 70 and 57. And as we move into Oakland, we have high Fridays at 78, nice weekend 77, 75 for Saturday and Sunday, lows 56. And San Francisco, we have Saturday at 73, Sunday 72, and the following week, lows 60s with some patchy clouds. In San Jose, we have Saturday at 84 and Sunday 81, low temperatures at 63 and 65. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and back to the desk.
Just ahead in this newscast.
It's a story of friendship and sports. How two San Jose students from Hungary are pursuing their dreams of winning at life and water polo.
At San Jose State, we really do learn by doing. This is my first semester working on our award-winning newspaper, the Spartan Daily. But my whole time here really has been about real-world skill building. Professors like Diane Gurazi continue their work in journalism while bringing that knowledge back to us in the classroom each semester. Then we're on the Spartan Daily, Update News, or the Spear. We get to put all that into practice. We even get to work with cutting-edge tools like our new VR lab, where we get to learn new ways of real storytelling using 3D virtual reality.
Our students have many opportunities to work in newsrooms that function like the ones they will encounter in their professional careers. Here in Update News, for instance, we produce a weekly show that is aired on local access television in San Jose, and we produce video news that is digital first. Students will get experience as producers, anchors, and field reporters.
The Spartan Daily, our award-winning student newspaper, has not missed a scheduled publication date in more than 80 years and remains one of the longest-standing papers of its kind in the Western United States. Through classroom instruction and our newsroom labs, we give our students the tools to succeed and create their own bright futures. Learn by doing. If you're interested in joining our program, visit our website for more information.
Moving away to college can be an intimidating endeavor for anyone. It can be especially difficult for international students, but for two men's water polo players, the move from Hungary to San Jose State was much easier because they had each other. Now, we head to the pool to hear more about Bende Party and Laszlo Szeben and how they ended up coming from Hungary to San Jose together. Bende Party and Laszlo Szeben have known each other for more than 10 years. They became fast friends back home in Hungary. When it came to apply for college, the two friends looked for schools where they could continue playing water polo. They both got offers from San Jose State University.
We met with each other at the national team, and we became friends, but we became much closer when he joined my team, what I played for. And since the first day, we were hanging out a lot. We were actually living pretty close to each other back home too, so we spent the weekends together, we played video games. It was love for the first sight.
Yeah, we've been best friends for over 10 years now, I guess. We've been right next to each other throughout our whole life for everything that mattered. So I'm really happy and glad to still share the pool with him.
Not only do the two share the pool, they also share a living space with 7 other teammates. With the players in such close quarters, their coach says the two friends add a lot to the team dynamic.
It's tremendous having them on the team. They're both very skilled athletes and good people and very good water polo players. But they're also good citizens, and they have a great maturity, and they really add to the team's camaraderie.
The team is currently 6-7 this season, and they are continuing to work hard to reach championships. Bende and Laszlo's friendship is often seen during gameplay, and they often have to work together to score points.
I'm a guard. I'm guarding the guys, so I need a lot of their help, and he's definitely one of those guys who are they're holding my back. So.
But yeah, we definitely work together in the pool. In the pool and outside of the pool, we work together, and we are trying to help each other. We are looking for each other in the pool, so I always have an eye on him.
It's good to have someone who's that close to you, and you don't even have to say what we want from each other.
I couldn't wish for anything better than having my best friend right next to me.
Bende and Laszlo will travel with the team for their next match on October 8th. They will continue to work as a dynamic duo for the rest of the season.
There's a lot to do in the upcoming week. Here's Carson's list.
Here are some things to look forward to this upcoming week. San Jose State's football team takes on the University of Las Vegas at CEFCU Stadium. The game starts at 7:30. It's Parents' Weekend. Festivities start on October 7th with a brew and wine fest at 5:30 before the football game. Other activities include a picnic, family night, and a brunch. Attend the 2022 Bay Area Diwali Festival. Activities start at 11 a.m. and go till 6 p.m. at Memorial Park in Cupertino. Go support the San Jose Barracuda in their first home preseason game as they take on the Bakersfield Condors. The game starts at 4 p.m. at Tech CU Arena. The 25th Annual Art of Remembrance Altar exhibit returns to the 5th floor of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Library to celebrate the Day of the Dead. That's all for this week. And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
From all of us here, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.